I started Tribal Copper back a year ago. So I'd have to take you back maybe 6 years. I've been following a teacher whose name is George Gold on YouTube about how to do coppersmithing. And then I got to take you back 30 years. So 30 to 35 years ago when I was playing golf, this fad happened where they were selling these bracelets, copper sort of bangle bracelets in pro shops. And they said if you wore this bracelet, you'd never get arthritis, or if you did, it would be very minimal. So I wore them for years. And then I stopped, and I don't even know why I stopped, but I just did. But it would turn your wrist green, you know, and everybody says, what's wrong with you? And I said, well, there's nothing wrong with me. I mean, it's just basically sweat and copper, and when they come together, it turns your wrist green, but it doesn't hurt you. But I've never had an issue with that, and I work very hard, you know, at my job, and it's hard work. But I never have the issues a lot of other people have, so I don't know if it's that or not, or maybe it's just me thinking it, but whatever it is, I've been hanging around copper for 35, 40 years. So back to 6 years ago, I started watching all these videos, and I realized I really like doing this. And so I decided to experiment with all the teaching that he had online, and the first couple of them kind of stunk. But then I got better and better at it, and now it's just like what I love to do. So why tribal? Well, it's because I feel like the indigenous cultures, the first cultures on this planet, this round of humanity, were totally tied into copper. I mean, Navajos, Apaches, South American tribes, African tribes, Russian tribes, all of them have always had this relationship with copper. And I thought, what's that about? Why? And it has to do with the energy. Why is copper used still in pipes? And it's also used in wiring, and it's the best wiring you can have. It's because it transmits electrical signals. And I wear two of them because every time this one hits this one, it creates a dielectric charge, and you feel the energy. It's a warming thing. It's not like a shock or anything like that, but it's like warming. So tribal copper is about letting the copper move after I hammer it. So the copper moves in different directions, and you never know which way it's going to move. But once it moves, you take a look at it and you say, well, okay, so it did that. Must be it wants to be roots and some valleys, and then I think about how to bring it character, something that brings interest to the piece. And that's why none of them are the same. They're all different. Every single one of them is, you might say similar because they're all copper, but they're not. And then I'll hammer them and use texturing hammers, and I'll hammer them using dapping pieces, and then textures inside the daps, daps are cylindrical, like cups, and then I'll add textures to them, and it brings interest to the piece. And then I'll try to match the earrings and the pendants that go with it, or could go with it, to sort of say, okay, like that's an ensemble. That's a piece that goes together. Sometimes people want them to look the same. Sometimes people want them to look different. So this is copper that basically is natural and it's not coated. Sometimes I'll coat them because I let the patina, sort of a bluish turquoise color, come out by oxidizing it, and it gives it a much different look. And so that's tribal copper. I mean, tribal copper is something that we do in New Hampshire. We hammer copper, and we have an online presence at tribalcopper.com. It's a passion. Right now I'm doing it part-time, but at some point the dream, living the dream, is to do this full-time, because I just love doing it.